Two very important things. A lot of people say minions are boring to play, and that's why we brought Overpower back into action. Latest patch buffed a lot of components of the formula, and finally we can present you the Machine Gun, Bloodlance, Perma Overpower, Bone Prison, Bloodwave fully build. And the fun part is you're standing on the other side of a room and can essentially with your Bone Prison and Bloodwave keep everyone away from you while absolutely annihilating them, because the way how Bloodlance works is that it lances one opponent, makes another lance from a Blood Orb, lances an unlanced opponent, and then they daisy chain into each other. So if I do 20 million damage to one guy, the other lanced guy is taking 20 million damage as well. Ergo, if you Bloodwave them, prison them, and start 100% attack speed Bloodlancing into them, every single one gets huge amounts of damage. And yes, it's working perfectly against bosses because you're going to put them into the Bone Prison. The Bone Prison is going to get healed by your Blood Orbs because it is a minion and they can't move out of it. Did I mention that the Bone Prison is actually eating a lot of the boss echoes? Elias fireballs, the wind thingies can collide with it. It's brilliant. What would the gameplay loop look like? Every single engagement begins with a Blood Wave. Your Blood Wave makes Blood Orbs. Your Blood Orbs are being consumed by every Blood Lance over the Gorquill aspect to make more Blood Lances, and at the same time, that reduces the cooldowns you're having. Yes, so you can literally use Blood Wave in every engagement over and over again. Now with tons of XP because you want the maximum max HP, and every orb healing you continuously, your Overpower counter resets every single time from your key passive to overpower even more. And since we can finally temper blood attack speed, it's so easy to hit 100% attack speed bonus cap like there's no tomorrow. And then you essentially just rinse and repeat. Wave, prison, tendrils, blood lances. Wave, prison, tendrils, blood lances. Nothing can ever touch you while you're just blasting through that pit 101 for maximum materials. Because a 101 gives you 60, while a 110 gives you only 64. That's scam. Do those 101s. And we even introduced a little sneaky tech to have the Bone Prison cooldown always reduced. Skill points begin with Hemorrhage, no basic skill needed, and then we're going to put all the points into Bloodlance into the Supernatural Bloodlance, where every 6th one will overpower and make a Blood Orb. Interestingly enough, the more attack speed you have, the more 6s you get, the more overpower you have, and the more Blood Orbs you consume to heal yourself to get more overpowers. So attack speed is everything in this build. Boost your damage by another 15% for the essence cost increase by 15%, but the essence cost is so low that doesn't matter. Now we're making some corpses for corpse tendrils, yes, but we have a Paragon glyph that actually perfectly interacts with this one. Into Blood Mist, then Blood Mist gets cooldown reduction when we overpower, and we always overpower, so we always have Blood Mist, and we're never in danger of dying because we can always Blood Mist in any situation, instantly reset the cooldown. Perfection. Make a corpse that you could corpse tendrils if you actually Blood Mist engage, which you don't do because you Blood Wave engage, that's safer. Then we have 4 points into Bone Prison, and you want all these points into Bone Prison to reduce the cooldown. That's also why the Holocene Crest is really useful for the build. Bone Prison makes everything vulnerable for 8 seconds, and that's why you want to bring Bone Prison down to an 8-second cooldown, so you can essentially have your opponent always vulnerable. And Bone Prison reduces the cooldown of your skills, which is really nice for Bloodwave to be up even more often. No movement speed, and also no Death Embrace because we simply don't have the points and we're never standing close. Then the bonus multiplicative damage to cursed enemies with the Decrepify into Abhorrent Decrepify for the cooldown reduction. Now we're boosting our healing by 10%. I would like to put 2 more points in, but I don't have it. We have 7 ranks in Coil Assist Blood over our gear, while healthy your blood skills deal 42 increased damage. Technically, that Coil Assist Blood should be Tides of Blood. Because your blood skills deal 15% increased overpower damage, this bonus is doubled while healthy. Which means that if I get another 3 points in here, I'm not getting 15x more damage, I get another 30x more damage, which is way too good. Our Corpse Tendrils are making Blood Orbs, which is incredible to get even more Blood Orbs. And then as a little tech, we're playing Serration, that's useless. But we're going for Rapid Ossification. Every 100 essence you spend, reduce the cooldown of your bone skills by 1.5 seconds. And we're so rapid fire spamming in the back that we roughly spend 200 essence during the cooldown of the Bone Prison to essentially have it down to those 6 to 8 seconds and have the boss permanently locked up. Now to the Blood Wave, into Blood Wave slowing enemies, which is a great amount of stagger, and then Blood Waves leaving behind Blood Orbs, which is 9 Blood Orbs per Blood Wave, every Blood Orb reducing your cooldown by 2.5 seconds, so 9 times 2.5 seconds for the cooldown reduction, and the cooldown is already down to 46.5 seconds. Then we do get more critical strike chance from Inspiring a Leader, and lastly, damage reduction, 18%, fantastic, and our sacrifice bonuses are times 1.6, 60%. While we now have the Rathmas Vigor, after being healthy for 12 seconds, your next blood skills will overpower. This timer is reduced by 2 seconds each time Blood Orbs heal or overheal you for 8,000 life. Blood Orbs heal you for 15% of your max life. Now, if you have 52,000 max life, you always heal for 8,000 life, not even considering any bonus healing received or even more healing from Blood Orbs, which we're going to be getting. So that with roughly 45,000 life, every single Blood Orb gives us a faster Rathmas Vigor. And since we have 9 from the Blood Wave, that's an 18-second cooldown reduction for even more Blood Orbing, overpowering everything. For the gear, I will as always have 2 versions. The realistic one I'm using with Uber Uniques right now, but also the alternative one that should be working equivalently well. We're currently sitting at 4,200 overpower damage and 1,000 critical strike, and we could even get more in those. Now to the gear and why sacrifice bonus is so absolutely incredible. But first, let's start off with the weapons. Right now we're using a Blood Lance Duration Temper, which has the Blood Lances be longer stuck in your opponents to then longer daisy chain things into each other. And we have Blood Overpower damage tempered onto this. I personally believe that it would be better to get the critical strike damage temper from Rogue to boost my damage even further. But I didn't want to do this, so we're stuck with Blood Overpower damage, but keep that in mind as you might have the Rogue, because your crit strike is getting multiplied up by tons. Then we're running overpower damage, maximum life, and intelligence. Maximum life on every piece is mandatory because more life plus fortify is more damage, which has the off-end run, max life, int, and resource cost reduction. Technically, I want the int gone for critical strike chance. The resource cost reduction is really helpful. We get blood attack speed here and then blood lance duration as well, with the aspect of the Gore Quills consuming blood orbs to do bonus lances, and this works against one enemy or multiple enemies. Multiple enemies is for the super daisy chaining, and one enemy is essentially to just stick them harder and do more damage. One key piece you need to not argue about is the Blood Moon Breaches, because they multiply your overpower damage by 70%, just like that. Done. I currently have a masterwork in the direction of curse skills, and that's useless. I currently would have to reset this and try to hit max life and damage reduction instead, because the curse skills really don't do much for me. Gloves are a key piece. Attack speed, the overpower damage should be critical strike chance, because we're currently almost at a 90% critical strike chance with all the gear. Yes, you want crit strands there. Then core skills, or blood lance, greater affix, and blood attack speed as well, up to a 40% chance to slow, freeze, because the slow and the freeze really happens a lot. You can see this on the boots here, a chance to freeze too. And you won't believe this, but you're consistently pushing people back, corpse tunneling them, freezing them, having them locked up. Bonus movement speed, and most important, essence per second. You need essence per second so you can machine gun cast and never run out. Plus the armor and the intelligence here, because the all damage you get does not equate in any way to the damage you would be getting from just having more life. The chest piece is Mutilator Plate. Need it. Can be had from the Beast of Ice. Your Blood Lance, and when Blood Lance would deal damage to you, it instead fortifies you. Super source of Fortify to instantly fortify up. It's insane. And you have a 5% chance to form a Blood Orb. Doesn't happen often, but does happen. That 5% chance should more be 15 or 20% to make this a realistic, good, unique. Still though, 5% is okay. And then Bloodlines deals another 20% multiplicative damage, plus willpower, max life, healing received, and total armor, helping you to reach the armor cap, helping you to heal harder, so we're actually able to completely dish out damage left, right, and center. As the helmet, we're playing the Harlequin Crest, max life and resource generation and cooldown reduction. The resource generation is amazing because then your essence per second is even more essence per second, plus the max life for more damage, the cooldown reduction for more blood wave. The bonus ranks allow the base damage to be higher for more overpower to overpower harder. Let's get to the rings and then to the sacrifice bonus. Number 1 ring is rocking attack speed, crit damage, and max life. Max life important, attack speed great, critical strike chance might even be better. And as you can see, I have the crit damage temper on this one to boost my crit damage a lot. Then resource generation. That resource generation could also be a resource cost reduction or a rapid ossification temper. Because if we get another 3 ranks in rapid ossification, then we're going to reduce the cooldown of Bone Prison by 3 seconds every 100 essence. That's huge. That being said, I'm currently around 6 to 8 seconds cooldown on the Bone Prison, just as an FYI or something to keep in mind. As the second ring, we're playing the Harlequin Crest, and it kind of works against rapid ossification because we're reducing the resource cost by 50%. From 13 down to 7. That allows us to machine gun away, but at the same time, it doesn't allow us to reduce resource costs that much. We're also missing out on even more attack speed and another critical strike damage temper. But we get 50x multiplicative more damage. It's a little bit give it and take it. It works very well, but you could replace this through another ring with the inner calm aspect, since we're always standing still, which would give us another 30x multiplicative damage. Aspect on the ring is the cooldown reduction for the 2.5 seconds per blood orb, and that is incredible. For the boots, it's a simple daze them. Yeah, lucky hit, daze them, they can't attack, they can't use skills, and they take 20% more damage. As we stagger the bosses a lot, it's a nice damage multiplier. And for the glove, it's the absolute best. Blood skills, overpower, 50% bonus attack speed, bringing us to that 100% attack speed cap, super easy. We're absolutely master blasting away. And lastly, the key piece, the masterpiece, max life, crit chance, 100% overpower damage. Casting an ultimate skill restores 67 primary resource. And this is brilliant because our resource will run dry at some point, and then we just ultimate and we're full again. And we ultimate every 10 seconds, roughly, every 5 to 10 seconds, to be honest. That means we're always full. It's beautiful. The coolest as blood should be Tides of Blood. And then we have your sacrifice bonuses are increased by 75%. Now, why is this so insane? Look at my crit chance. It's currently 43.1, correct? And if I now take the sacrifice, I should be getting 18% plus. So 43 plus 18, sure, that would make sense. But we're at 71. 43 plus 18 is not 71. And the reason is that our 18% is still times the Memento Mori 1.6, bringing this up to 28.8% bonus critical strike chance. And not only that, we're sacrificing our mages for the overpower damage. Here it says 53% plus. That's kind of cool, but that wouldn't lead to 4,163. Because again, with the sacrifice, it's 53% times 1.6, giving us a whopping 84.8% in total bonus overpowered damage. Just getting it all up and going crazy. And lastly, the Golem, which is now instead of 35%, 61% multiplier to our critical strike damage, meaning we're going from a measly 600%, well, to a absolutely whopping 1000% critical strike damage. It's doing wonders and boosting our damage like there's no tomorrow. That's why every piece of crit damage, like let me put the ring off, that's 400% crit damage. Yes, we're getting 55 and 116, but with a multiplier, it's so much more. To the Paragon board where it becomes dicey because we need max life, all the max life possible. First off, we activate as Gravekeeper. Yes, Gravekeeper, because we get 3% more damage up to 18% for every corpse if we corpse tendril. That doesn't consume corpses. So we make corpses, but we never consume corpses, which gives us an 18% huge multiplier. Upwards into the Blood Begets board. And you see we split this in 50-50 because the board is asked to go in. What we want here is the Amplify give, because Amplify boosts all this overpower damage. We're getting another 101% overpower damage just because of this glyph. And we get even more Blood Orb healing, plus even more Blood Orb healing and max life bonus. Into the Bloodbath board for X 35% overpower damage with more overpower damage, and the Essence Glyph, 39 out of 25, get this level 21 super quick. Then more damage while Fortify, and even more maximum life, maximum life, compounding interest every 2% counts. With the Bone Graft board into Tenacity for more max life, names the game, get all the max life. With the Exploit Glyph for bonus damage to Vulnerable, that's why you want also the cooldown low on Bone Prison. Then into the Scent of Death board for the bonus damage reduction, because we have corpses nearby, but we don't actually have corpses nearby depending on where we stand. So if you move a bit away from the corpses, you will get bonus damage. And if you move closer to the corpses, you get damage reduction and bonus damage from the Gravekeeper. So make sure where you stand to get either or. That brings us to the Dominate Glyph for more overpower and more critical strike damage. Yes, it's fantastic. And even more max life. And lastly, we're going into the Flesh Eater board, but we don't interact with corpses. So we're just juicing out resistance and damage to elites, plus 10% damage bonus when no minion is active. And yes, this one is working. They fixed the pet. This will probably be the most fun Necromancer you've played this season, especially if you get all the pieces together. You're just gonna laugh your ass off how you're bullying enemies. And I'm not even at perfect gear to streamline this even further, and it's already working fantastic. More max life greater affixes, max life greater uniques, I would be flying. Now it ain't a golem build, and the latest golem iteration is absolutely incredible. This might be more fun to play. If you though want to push deeper into the pit, how about you check out this one and push even deeper than ever before with the new Blood Begets tag. Enjoy and have a fantastic day.